You've got that sickening feeling. It's becoming wintertime outside and your equipment is getting the snow and everything else. Consider one of these hoop sheds. They come in all sizes. We've had 2 different ones now. We're going to tell you the pros and cons. You may or may not want one, but I think this video will help you decide. Let's get started. Now this is our second hoop shed, or ShelterLogic brand shed. The first one we had was in our location in Carmel, and it was the garage size, right? Garage in a box, I think some of them are called. We put it up in a pinch to be able to house our little tractor, our little subcompact tractor, and its various attachments. We only had a few attachments that first winter. We've got a review on it. We show some of the pluses and minuses, all the different things we encountered with that. That review is all the way back in 2015, I believe, so very early in Tractor Time with Tim days. But I would just go check that one out. You'll get some good understanding of what worked and what didn't work. It wasn't perfect for us, but it was much better than leaving the tractor outside all winter. But this video, I really want to focus on this ShelterLogic SP series that we put up in mid to late 2019. We said at the time that we wanted this building to last 3 to 5 years, and the reason was we didn't know what our future was going to be. Of course, that's kind of a situation everyone's in, right? You don't really know what you need sometimes, and one of the best ways to deal with that is to spend just the minimal amount to solve the problem in sort of a temporary basis. Well, that was our thinking on this particular building, this particular choice. See if we could find something that could get by for 3 to 5 years until we either had some more money that we could invest in a bigger building, or maybe we wouldn't even need it anymore and we could just take it down and move on. I'd like to tell you that all of my planning goes this well, that 3 to 5 years was the goal, and here we are at just over 4 years and we're ready to take it down. But honestly, a lot of the planning is much further off than that. Yeah, check out our other episodes. We're showing the new building that we're getting ready to build. It's going to be much larger than this. It's going to be insulated, heated, and air conditioned. I think it's going to be exactly what we need. And at this stage, we've been able to save enough over those 4 or 5 years to be able to pay for that building. And that's one of the biggest advantages of this ShelterLogic SP series, is the cost relative to the square footage you get. At the time, I believe this was roughly $13,000. This one's 30 by 55. I'm sure they've gone up by now, but that was the price back then, and it's been well worth it. Let's just summarize with that if you don't watch any more of the video. This has been a wonderful investment for that amount of money and for that amount of time. Let's take a little review now of how we put it together, the effort that we went through, just some of the construction choices we made. The biggest part of the planning that I had to do was what type of foundation I was going to use. So we chose to put these vertical 6x6s in the ground, put them in several feet deep, I think 4 feet deep, about as deep as our post hole auger would dig at the time. Per instruction from the county, we put some extra 2x4s on each side, and that helped with the uplift. So we got these vertical 6x6s, and then we put a horizontal 6x6 on top of them and attached it via these steel brackets meant to do exactly that. Once we had the foundation done, the next step was to put the hoops up. That really wasn't that hard. We had a group of friends from our Bible study, frankly, that came over and helped us put the hoops up. That went pretty well, and we were able to get those up fairly easily. The next step was to put the canvas on. First we did the ends, and then we did the big 55-foot wide tarp that goes over the top. This is where we began to encounter some problems. We were all not young, let's put it that way, and little did I know I had a heart problem, and so yeah, I didn't have a lot of energy at the time. A mere 1 year later, I would have a stent put in. So I think I was about the youngest person there. Well, okay, Christy was the youngest person there.
Exactly.
We had a lot of trouble getting the tarp pulled over the top. And once we got it pulled over the top, we had even more trouble stretching it far enough for the ends. If I had one complaint about that part of the process, I still think the tarp is not quite long enough. We needed another foot at least on each end to be able to make it loop over enough. You can see now that it's just barely over on this end, right, Izzy? It's just barely over on this end, and we'll go down to the other end and you'll be able to see that it's come off. And by the way, that just happened within the last 6 weeks. It slipped off after 4 years. And I'm going to leave it off for now because we may not need that. More about that later. Once we finally got it stretched out enough to go over those end beams, we didn't have any more issues with the canvas. Well, that's not exactly true. We've had a lot of trouble with the ends. The doors didn't work very well for us. They have the zippers on them like the small one that we had earlier, but these zippers are not very useful because you have to reach up 10 foot high to be able to open the door that high. And that just wasn't practical for us, right? So most of the equipment that we have now is over 8 foot tall, so it's taller than I can reach to unzip. So we eventually just gave up on the doors. We had a lot of trouble with them. And if I had it to do over, I wouldn't even put any of the ends on at all. I would just use the big tarp over the center and not put either end on. I would leave it open on both ends. So if possible, I would buy a little bit longer structure so that I didn't have to count on the ends, right? So that would be my first suggestion for you and your purchases. Get it longer than what you think you'll need. Leave the ends off of it. This is an example of one of those vertical posts coming up out of the ground and the steel bracket that we use to attach to the horizontal post. Most of these worked fine, and most of this foundation worked fine. These 6x6s look good on this side for the most part, but they're not perfect on the other side. Let's take a look. Now this side's a different story. Right here we can see that that bracket is either stretched or maybe even totally broken at the top of the post, and the horizontal 6x6 is twisted outward. We see that along this side, most of this side here, and it gets even worse toward the end. We chose to use what we call road pack here, or 73s. It's 3/4 inch limestone down to dust, right? So anything from 3/4 down to dust. A lot of areas it's called crush and run or crusher run. That's what we chose to use for the floor. Now the first time we put this in, we got it all stood up, and after the first rain, it was like a rainforest inside. Condensation was horrible, and people had mentioned, oh, make sure you put down some plastic. Well, I didn't do so, never thought about it, but that is a must. So we actually pulled 3 or 4 inches of the rock out, put down plastic, and then put the rock back down on top of it and packed it all again, and we haven't had any issue with condensation since that. It made a world of difference. That's one thing I would make very clear to you: put plastic down under your floor. It may not seem like a big deal, but it really was for us. We chose the white color for this one because we were afraid if we chose one of the dark colors that we wouldn't not having any light inside. We didn't have any power here to this shelter for a couple of years, maybe even 3 years. So it was really nice to have the sunlight being able to shine through there to give us enough light to see what we were doing, at least during the day. Of course, in the dark, we couldn't see anything, flashlights and just get by how you could. We eventually ran power to it. We have power to it now. We've got 2 big lights in the middle that we turn on with a switch in our other shop. But the translucency, I guess you would say, of the white cover really worked well, and I think I would choose that again. Now, Christy might think differently. It's bothered her all along to see it begin to change color, to get dirty, right? You can see some black on here that's wear, and some other black on this side that's maybe a little moldy, or I don't know really what it is, but some sort of dust or dirt or grime over the years. And so it doesn't look as crisp and white as it did the day it was installed. In fact, let's go look at the other side. The evergreens real close to it on this side has stained it significantly, right? We don't see this side, so it doesn't really matter to me, but if you had this exposed but yet an evergreen right beside it, that might be bothersome. We have not tried power washing it. Again, it's out of sight, out of mind for me, but perhaps a power washer could take this off. This is a tear that I put into it while we were putting it up. In fact, I left the loader on my tractor while I was running a power rake and a box blade to remove that rock and put that rock back in after the plastic, and I scuffed it right here. And this rip is about, well, 3 inches long. They gave us patch material and epoxy to patch this, and yeah, like a lot of things, that I never got around to it. But it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed in 4 years since then, and it's really not a problem at all. So I'm kind of glad at this point that I didn't waste any time repairing it. When it's windy, these bottom flaps are acting like this all the time, right? That's an intended function of the building, because since there are no ends, they want to be able to relieve some of that pressure inside. So they don't want you attaching these, because that's going to cause it to have more upward pressure in a wind situation. Well, after that amount of time, 4.5 years, look at that. See, that's where I've had a rock under there that was on top at one point. Well, it's worn. So keep sharp objects away from these flaps here, and that'll keep it from having that wear as bad. It is just where these rocks were, and originally I'd set these on there to try to keep it from flapping. Well, it threw them off. That's how aggressively that moves in a windstorm. We can hear this from inside the house. We can hear it, sometimes we can hear it creaking a little bit, the bolts in the frame moving, but more often than that, we hear the flapping of this, as well as the flapping of the ends in a strong wind. As I mentioned, this one has a 30-foot width, 30-foot diameter on the hoops, and then we have 2-foot extensions on the bottom. Now, I think you might be able to get taller extensions from the company. If I were to do it again, I would put more posts, vertical posts under it, and raise those posts out of the ground. In other words, I want a little bit more vertical wall. So I believe I would build my vertical walls 3 or 4 foot tall, and then put my horizontal post on the top there. So that would require more posts. I think I only have 6 per side. You'd obviously have to have more if you're going to raise it that much. That'd be a lot more airflow coming in, a lot more stress on those vertical posts. So have to have more of them, but I think it would give you more space. This semicircle shape is costing me a lot of space on the top shelves of our pallet racking. So I could get a lot more usable height with the pallet racking by raising it. I don't need any more height in the middle, got plenty of height in there, but on the sides it feels a little bit constraining, and I end up pulling the pallet racking in a little bit, which provides less overall usable space inside the building. Not only has this been quite effective storage, it's been a huge space for us, right? I mean, counting up right now, we have 8 power units in here, 8 tractors or Mini X or zero-turn mowers, whatever, and our fork truck. So 8 overall power units, and I think I counted 32 attachments. I mean, that's crazy, and of course those numbers are a little bit fuzzy because some things it's hard to know whether you count it as attachment or not. But with that pallet racking, having 2 shelves, an enormous amount of space in this 30 by 55 shelter. And had I raised it another 3 or 4 foot, I would have had a lot more width and could put even more in it. So from a cost-effective standpoint, functional standpoint, really this thing has been great. One of the bigger challenges I've had is dealing with the barn swallows. I have no idea how to solve that problem. They're nesting up in each of these junctions here. And then I've got that 2x6 or 2x8 down there on the end. They nest on there. That's there for the outside light. And so that's why we put it there, and it seemed to make good sense, but it just provided yet more nesting ground. If you have any ideas on dealing with the barn swallows, I'd love to hear them, because I'm afraid our new dock is going to have that same issue. But they love swooping through here. This is just enormous fun for them, and it's not been such fun for me. I've had some damage on one of my tractors where they've left manure all over it and it's rusted it a little bit. So it's kind of frustrating to me, but I don't know how to solve that. Looking for your ideas. One of my favorite early videos, probably one of our silliest, craziest, dumbest ideas, I don't know, you can categorize it how you want.
It worked.
Was when we took our early ShelterLogic, the garage size one, and we moved it with the 1025R. We moved it across the yard. It was absolutely hilarious, at least to me. We'll put a link to that video in the description if we can remember. The idea is that we wanted to get that shelter out of where it was, to move it to somewhere else temporarily while we built our new building. You know, we have a similar problem now. So maybe trying to one-up ourselves, we've been thinking about how we might be able to move this ShelterLogic SP series. We got a lot more equipment now. Got Dave, I got Rex, both of them on board. Both of them think we can pull this off. Right now, we're thinking we can move that ShelterLogic without taking it down. What do you think? Do you think it can happen? Let's hear your ideas in the comments. Maybe you'll have a better idea than us. But the idea is to move it back this direction beside the existing shop, right? That's the plan of attack. Obviously, we'll have to get foundation built back here for it before we start the move, but that's one of the ideas we're working on. We'll see if we can pull it off. We hadn't heard from the ShelterLogic company in, I don't know, at least 3.5, maybe 4 years since we put this building up. I'd even reached out to him about some other ideas of maybe a second one or whatever, really got no response. Then out of the blue, ShelterLogic contacted us just a few weeks ago, just a couple of weeks ago, and let us know that they would be willing to work with us and give you guys some affiliate links that might save you some money. So we've got links in the description with some specials. These specials, I think, change over time. I'm not exactly sure how this works, but if you're interested in anything from the small garage in a box all the way up to the SP series, look at these links in the description, and you can make your order there. No obligation on my part, and yeah, I just thought I would let you know because it seemed purely coincidental to me. Overall, my opinion of this ShelterLogic was that it was a little harder to put up than what I expected. I think you need a man lift. It'd be nice to have either a boom lift or a scissor lift, perhaps more than one of each to get that tarp over the top. I would skip the ends. I would make sure that I put plastic under the bottom, and I would make sure that I have a suitable foundation to handle all the wind. At least here in central Indiana, we have a lot of wind and it's tough on it. I think it survived well, enough that we're considering moving it and continuing to use the same canvas on the top going forward. So I would say that's a pretty good testimony really right there to how it works. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I'm thankful not to have to do it again, right? I mean, I'm thankful that we can actually get a better building for us at this point, but wow, this was a great way for us to defer this expense until not only we could afford it, but we knew more what we wanted. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim.
For in the day of trouble, he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in the shelter of his sacred tent and set me high upon a rock.